Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Sorry for the delay, but it's better late than never. Do you know what I'm saying? And I am joined all the way from the US of A, but by Lucas. Lucas, how you doing, man?
I'm absolutely fantastic. We're doing great. I can't believe we signed a player in June. Absolutely unreal.
I know, mate. And the other man, the man of the hour, Mitchell, bruv. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good, thanks, mate.
Good, mate. Good. Let's start off with Mitchell. First off, Mitch, what do you make of the new signing?
Good. It has really wound me up, though. I, honestly, for the last 2 weeks. Good evening, everybody. For the last 2 weeks, I've just been not paying attention to the transfer. I've just thought, you know what? If X says it's basically, pretty much going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm not paying attention to the fucking loads of different sources every day saying, oh, concerns over this, concerns over that, and then at Twitter just melting down every day going, oh, it's not going to happen. I just honestly, usually with transfer sagas, I'm always on board and I'm very reactionary, but this is probably like the first one where I thought, you know what, I really can't be fucked anymore. So I've just kind of put it to one side, and when he signs, he signs. I thought the only source I looked at, to be honest, was just X on his Patreon, because it was just getting to me too much. I was just getting too wound up with it. The only decent source out of it, honestly, is probably DiMarzio, Sky Sports News, and X, and that's about it.
Fair enough, though, mate. I must admit, you got a lot of love in the chat tonight, Mitch. Right, because we're going to get into it tonight. The first one is, I wonder how many subscribers Mitchell is going to lose you by the end of the stream. It's as if you've hired Oscar Pistorius. Listen, man, honestly, I don't care what anyone says, yeah? Right? I could have 10 subscribers, but that's 10 good people in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? So, Mitchell's always welcome here, mate. I mean, he's a fan with an opinion. Do you know what I mean? What more can I say? Before I carry on, Lucas, what do you make of the new signing? We've signed the player, Lucas. Like, it's breaking news.
Yeah, really happy about it. It's fucking June 20th, and it's different. I like that a lot. We need more, though. But I'm excited, though. He gives us another solid option, and he makes us a bit more flexible at the back, which is never a bad thing. Could you imagine a back three now with Aguerd, Zuma, and then Ogbonna or Dawson? It'd be really solid.
Oh, yeah. That would be. If you're showing up shop, you want to try something different, 100%. But I don't think we need to do that now. I think the fact that we've now got Zuma and Aguerd that are two, decently paced centre halves that, they've got the bare minimum pace to be at the top level, I think allows us to have a higher line. I think, last season, as good as Dawson was, it was always risky if we wanted to play a higher line against teams, because it would expose us over top balls, against Dawson, because our back line is very slow. It's still slow. Vesuva ain't the quickest. Cresswell is slow. Dawson's slow. It was only really Zuma that he's not rapid, but he was still a decent enough pace centre half. But now we've got a Aguerd in there that really does push it up, in terms of allowing us to press a bit higher now. And I think that's massive.
And he gives us a lot more flexibility. I'm not saying I want to play Arthur Masuaku left wing back, but that gives us a lot more flexibility to play someone way more attacking at left back. We don't have to play Cresswell.
But is it? I don't want to see him like left back though. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't. It's wound me up that X said that that apparently they see him as an alternative to play left back. Like, it's not his position. Do not play him there. You wouldn't play Zuma at right back. Don't play Aguerd at left back. Just get a new fucking left back in. Tagliafico, if we're that stingy, he's there for fucking like 5 million. I know he's old, but it doesn't matter. He'll do a great job for 2 seasons.
He's not really old. He's not really old though, Mitch.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no.
That's 29, isn't he?
I
think that's old. We're all doomed. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I think Aguerd's a great signing for West Ham. I done a video on it earlier. Lucas and I spoke a little while back, like a few weeks back, and I said when he played the USA, I watched him and I thought he was excellent, Aguerd. So for me, I think he's a great signing, but I don't know. Like, I don't like the left back situation. I think the left back situation needs to be sorted out, and hearing that he could be cover for the left-hand side, I suppose when you look at it in one way, if a Bonner comes in and you pushed him over to the left-hand side, you've got plenty of cover there, ain't you? Really.
Yeah.
But you, we shouldn't be doing that.
I don't prefer that, but what I was saying basically, Aguerd gives us flexibility to play someone else that's more attacking at left back, someone unlike Cresswell, if that makes sense.
100% agree.
With picking up the ball, bringing it forward as well. He's got the most long passes completed in the league last season. Shows that he's very comfortable on the ball. That's good.
It's exciting to see because now Moyes, in theory, has two center halves that he really wanted, he really rates, and it's nice to see that we have an absolute shit brick house on the right, and then someone with a bit of finesse and ball playing ability on the left.
Yeah, and they're both got good age.
I think Aguerd's better than Zuma, mate. From what I've watched, I think
time will tell. I think that's a big statement.
Oh well. I'll tell you what, we'll have a charity bet on it of £10, right? And I'll tell you something now.
It's hard to say that because I think Aguerd, he's quite a bit skinnier than Zuma.
But he's faster than him, though, mate. He's a lot faster than Zuma.
It's not guaranteed that he will adapt as well, though, to the Premier League, as as well as Zuma adapts to the Premier League. Zuma is meant for the Premier League, like the speed,
I suppose so.
the physicality. Aguerd's, he's quick, but it's time to see if he could deal with those big bully defenders because there ain't as many of them in the French league.
I agree. What do you make of this?
Sorry, mate.
Well, what do you make about this before we sort of carry on about Broja? What is
it's just the full thing.
25 to 30 million, and like they're talking. I'll start off with you, Mitch. What do you think?
Well, I would much rather him than Dennis. First of all, I'd much rather him than Dennis. I don't really care about the price. I just think, I think people forget Bro's only 20 years old. Like that's very young still, and it was his first season in Premier League. It's a big ask. Like it's his first season in a top league where he's been asked a lot of him, and I think he's done really well. He didn't score the most amount of goals, but he was inconsistent. But I still think, the fact that he hasn't got loads of interest as well plays into our hands that maybe we can get a decent offer for him. Tony seems to be out the window now, and David, which is a shame because I still think they would have been the best options. But I think after that, now we've also been linked with Naziri, but also has had a more inconsistent season. Based on older, for me, I just think Broja is the one. I think it really suits the way we play, and the fact that he can pick up the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
Similar to the way Antonio plays, will just mean that it's a like-for-like swap, and maybe he has a bit more input.
Is it a worry? Is it a worry that we're going to put all our faith in a 20-year-old kid? Don't get me wrong; he was good, half decent at Southampton. He was decent at Southampton, but Southampton ain't loaning him back or offering to buy him. Where's the experience factor there?
I think so. You've got Antonio for that. I still think Antonio will do a decent job next season. Maybe not as good because now he's a year older anyway, and he did show quite a few signs last season of wearing out of it. But he's still a fit Antonio for next season. He can still be rotated because obviously he will have a better fitness if he's got another striker to rotate with. I just think I don't think there's much pressure. I think the fact that in his debut game, when he came, I think it was his debut, when he came on against us as a substitute at the start of the season, and he had no fear whatsoever and ran at us like twice. I was like, fucking hell, who's this kid? Do you remember that? In the Southampton away game start of the season, fucking hell, who's this kid? Never heard of him. And I think it shows he's got bollocks, the boy, and and he's English. I know he comes under, I think, Albanian, but he's still he was raised in England, born in England. So I still think he's suited to us, really.
Yeah,
I'll be happy
Lucas,
with him.
What do you reckon, sir?
He's
one of your Balkan brothers, isn't he?
Absolutely, he is. I like him. I like him a lot. But at the beginning of the window, I think that there was a reported number on him for 45 million pounds, which was kind of outrageous for someone that's. And it's not because it's Southampton, but I mean, really, his only experience is at Southampton, and I mean, he had a decent season, nothing over the moon, but not 45 million pounds good. But if we are talking like striker, me personally, I view Emmanuel Dennis more as a left winger, and I would still love him as a left winger signing. But if we're talking like purely striker, I'd rather spend the 25-30 on Broja, because I do think he'd fit our team well and exactly what Moyes wants him to do, what he'd expect from him, and he could learn under Antonio for whatever it may be. I don't know exactly, but I would like to sign him a lot. And he's 20 years old. He can only get better.
Exactly.
Thing is, if I was to chuck a name up to you right now, you had a choice between El Nesri or Broja. Who'd you be picking?
Broja.
I'd rather Broja, personally.
Really? I'd go the other way, mate. I'd go El Nesri because he's done it in La Liga, and he knows.
He's had a shocking season, though. It's a really bad season.
I just rate the Premier League experience way too.
But can you judge someone? Can you judge someone on one season, really? If they've been banging goal after goal after goal, season in, season out. Like Harry Kane. Like, listen, I can't stand Harry Kane.
It wasn't banging goal. It was only the season before where he was really smashing it. Seasons before that, it was like he was doing it right. But he's not the youngest player either. How old is he? What I don't have a clue to this. I would have.
But if you've got two players and they're both 25 million a pair, yeah, then for me, El Nesri would be my preferred rather than Broja. I think Broja done okay at Southampton, but hasn't, done it. James, you wanted that Adam Armstrong, I know, mate, and that went down sour grapes. That's why I don't want to go to Southampton again. Epic, I must admit. But what do you think, Lucas, of El Nesri? There's been rumoured that we're in for him.
I wouldn't mind him. I think he's okay. I'd be more interested in that double deal that's been reported of him and Lucas Ocampos for 40 to 50 million. That'd be absolutely beautiful business. But I mean, yeah, he didn't have the best of seasons last season, but I mean, in the current world that we're in right now and how much we need a backup striker, I would not hate him at all. I'd welcome him with open arms, but Broja, in my opinion, is a bit more attractive.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I just can't agree with you. I really can't. I just think I look at El Nesri.
I want both. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, but you're greedy though, Mitch.
And Nesri's 29. 28, 29.
Why not buy it in the series or loan him because they really want to get rid of Sevilla, get rid of him from Sevilla, and then either loan Broja or buy him and do the other way around as well. And then I think you've got a good squad of strikers there.
I think 25 million. If you've got 25 million Broja, is Broja going to hit the ground running straight away? I'm not saying El Nesri will do, but he has played at a higher level. He knows a guard.
But he's not done it this last season. He's not played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Broja's quicker than him as well.
I think
more of a menace. I think, and the series a better finisher and better inside the box. But we're not the team where we dominate the ball all the time and play that kind of football.
What about left back? Well, obviously we spoke about it before.
Hickey.
Obviously, you know that you're not a biggest fan of Cresswell, Mitch, and Lucas is like,
shit.
We know we need a left back.
Bastard.
Lucas? What do we need on the left-hand side, signing wise?
We need Aaron Hickey, especially with all the news coming out about Martinez from Ajax. Basically, now it's between Arsenal and United. That's what I've been seeing. Yeah. But we need Arsenal to sign the deal on this Martinez guy because that just leaves an open hole for Hickey. And I still think Hickey is like molded in the perfect left back that we need to bring into this club. I told you before, it's rare to see a 19-year-old going on 20 who already has almost 100 first team appearances for Hearts and Bologna. And he gets forward, and really the only thing he's lacking is a deadly cross, but I mean he could definitely learn from Cresswell for that.
Do you think Ram's in the line for West Ham? I Rama, his name is.
I think he's unbelievable. I think he's going to be like one of the best left backs potentially in the world in the coming seasons. It's just we won't spend 35 million on left back. I listened to X's podcast as well. He said that it looks very unlikely we'd even be interested in the amount of money for him. But we were interested in him, it's just a price tag, which I think is a massive shame, because when you can get that kind of quality for 35 million, I think sometimes you've got to forget about your summer plans and just go, you know what, we need to take this up. Cresswell's probably the weakest link in the squad. And we can replace him with a top class player at 35 million. And if he was playing in the Premier League last season, he'd probably be worth 60 million. I'm not even joking.
Absolutely.
But would you sacrifice 35 million for a left back when we need a blooming striker, Mitch?
Because we can still get a striker. We're talking, say, 35 million for Aguerd, which it looks like we're now selling Diop for 10 to 15 million. If we can get round for, say, if you do end up paying 35 for him, then we've still got apparently a rumoured amount of 15 million in terms of budget. We can still make free transfers. We can still make loans as well. I think if I was in command, I wouldn't care too much about making 6 signings if we made, say, 4 better ones where each of them are much better. I get we need the squad depth. I don't get the whole thing about letting Vlasic leave alone. Oh my God, my feet are filth.
Oh, don't get me started on Vlasic, mate. Don't get me started on him. Me and Lucas will clash. You know what I mean? But listen, I understand what you're saying, but I do think 6 players is about right. When you look at other players like Diop going, I think we all know that Diop's not good enough now. Like he's had chance after chance after chance. It's time to say bon voyage. Do you know what I mean to him?
Some people in the fan base still believe he's good enough.
Mezawaku is another one who should be shipped out the door straight away. The Vlasic one, for me, I'm going to be honest. I'll say my opinion. I'll get all yours opinions. I think it's the right move. I think loan him out, let him have a season in Italy, see how he gets on, and then if he don't do it in Italy in a slower league, then he ain't going to do it in the Prem. And let's be honest, he played 19 games last year and scored 1 goal. And that goal was against Watford and it's like 4 yards out. So it's not exactly productive. So I think it's the right way of doing it. What do you think, Lucas?
I'm absolutely 100% against loaning him out. I think he either needs to be sold or kept for depth. Because, I mean, the worst thing that happens is we don't play him and then we just sell him in January for already a cut price that we're going to sell him for in the summer. I don't agree with an Italian move. I'd rather see him in the championship fighting for promotion with a club or a relegated,
it's a very good shot,
touted side. And Italy's just the wrong move. That the Torino link is only because there's a Croatian manager there. So I mean, I can see why the link's there. He's not going back to Croatia to play at Hajduk Split. I'm not saying it's a career ruiner, but he's taken at least 5 steps back from where he's at right now. And I don't know. I'd rather either get some money for him now or in January rather than just ship him out to God knows where. We need the depth at the end of the day.
But where does he fit next season? Like I know we need the depth. I get it. But if you sign 6 players next year, this season, if you sign just say Campos and Dennis or Sarr or all of them, where does he fit? Like I just don't see where the geezer fits, in my opinion.
It's gotta be either playing the 10 or left wing. And God only knows. We were pretty solid with our injury record last season, but who knows what's in store for this season?
Yeah,
Shit could hit the fan quick.
Mitch, what do you think on Vlasic? I know me and you disagree, but what do you think?
Completely against signing them out. I think not even keep for depth. I would sell him. He's not cut for the Prem. He's not cut for the bit of edge you need. I think in the Premier League you need that bit of quality every now and then in the game, or change the game up. He's so fucking boring.
He is.
He's a sideways. He don't try any killer passes. Don't try long range shots. Don't try to beat a man. If he does make a run down a channel, he does get the ball. He'll turn back around and then pass it back and keep it safe. He's not what we want at West Ham. He probably would suit, I think, the Italian league. I do think that's where he'd go. Yeah, but then I'd sell him. I'd sell him for 12, 15 million. Just get him gone.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? Like, yet again, we'd be losing money, like Lucas said. Like, if we go out,
it would be. But the thing is, if you do loan him out, or not loan him out, but I think loaning him out is the bad thing. We need the funds now because this is the massive summer. So, if you want to keep a squad depth, which I wouldn't, I'd rather keep him squad depth than loaning him out, because we do need the squad depth. Right. But I just think he just needs to go. I really think he's just not suited for the Premier League. I don't think he's a terrible player. He needs to play in a completely different system.
Yeah, but this is the second time he's been in the Prem, right? He played 12 games for Everton, he played 19 games for us, and he hasn't done it. Right? And people say, "Oh, give him time." And I'm thinking, people knock other players for doing better, and they still want to give Vlasic time. And I'm thinking, well, we ain't got time. Like, we need to sign these players now, have them ready to go for next season. Like, I see something in the chat just a minute ago. Someone just said, like, we can't afford to be loaning these top players out, these players that we've signed. And I'm thinking, I understand that. If you loan him out, he goes to Torino and he tears it up, then we've got an asset. Then his value will go up. Like, if we sell him now, he's at the bottom end of his value, isn't he?
If he turns up, if he turns it up, though, if he does, then fair enough. But we still got to wait another year to get that money when we could really do with it now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. What about you, Lucas? Final thought on Vlasic. I know he's your boy, but you're biased.
I will say this. It was reported that when we bought Vlasic, we actually paid a lot for him up front, which, again, we just cannot stay away from terrible business. Like, I'm pretty sure we all thought that when we bought Vlasic, we didn't. It's reported that we paid like 26 million euros up front in the deal. And if that's true, that's absolutely terrible what we did. But I don't know. I would still keep him for depth purposes, but I still think he can turn into something.
Yeah,
that something is for everyone else to guess. I think he could be decent.
If he wasn't Croatian and he was an Englishman called Niki Vlasic, would you have a different opinion?
Niki Vlasic.
Nicky Veal.
Would you have a different opinion, Lucas? Tell me the truth.
No,
you wouldn't. Well,
I think he could possibly do all right next season. Very possibly. If, maybe he has a one-to-one chat with the manager, changes the way he plays in terms of,
like, I get the whole, like, I honestly get it, because, James, I've told you a million times, I sit on the fence, unbiased.
Yeah.
But realistically, how much can you ask from someone playing in the Russian Farmers League to come in and make an immediate impact? And I know the price tag was big, but, like, in all reality, it's a bit unfair.
But he hasn't really done any. I understand what you're saying, but then you could look at any other player. You can look at Manuel Lanzini, come from the Saudi Arabia League, and he come in and tore it up. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's fair.
You can look at it either way. But he had a good Euros. He got scouted. He'd come to the Premier League. I would have thought he would have embraced it. And certain games, for me, in my opinion, I looked at him last year and I thought, this geezer's just too slow. He's too predictable. And Mitchell is right, even though I got to laugh at it. And I see something in the chat saying, like, about Mitch. He's boring. He does nothing. Like, he doesn't look entertaining. Like, he's supposed to be an attacker, and he doesn't attack with any. He doesn't attack with any flair. Do you know what I mean? So
he's more of just a basic midfielder, really. Like,
he's like a poor man's Fornells, in my opinion. Like, Fornells is like the top, and he's like there. And it's like we've just chucked him up front and hope for the best. So I don't know. But let's move on from Vlasic because we don't know where he's going to be heading. Let's talk about Declan Rice in Vegas. What did you make of him in Vegas getting caught out? The birds.
He's only chatting. There's no harm in chatting.
Never.
I think he's still with his missus.
Yeah. Do you think he'll get any bother with his missus? Or do you think the media are trying to stitch him up there?
The media, they'll do anything just to get people talking, get more clicks. So no, I don't pay attention. I think everything comes up. Rice has got media attention all the time. You know, positive and negative, and obviously his missus will know all about that.
Jack Grealish right now.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, might be my new favorite footballer if he's actually just on holiday, just off the blow for 2 weeks straight, just having the time of his life.
Good. Honestly, I hated Grealish when he was at Villa. All of a sudden, now he's at City.
I love him now.
No, at City, I don't know why I really like him.
He's like a typical lad, isn't he? Like he's like a typical.
And I've embraced the fact that even though they bought him for £100 million and he hasn't really like turned up or done anything to justify that price tag, he's just living his life, just partying and doing whatever the hell he wants. I love it.
But also at Villa, for some reason, when he dived, I thought he's dirty fucking cunt. But now when he dives at City, I go, I love that.
Yeah, I know, but I think what it is, where City are miles ahead of us, or million miles ahead of us. I've got to be honest, like he does crack me up, Grealish. Like he has like smashed out of his face, glasses like bent, and
that came out of him was absolutely quality.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. It was funny when you look at him, but is it a bit of a worry that Rice is getting very close to Grealish, and possibly next year he goes to City? Nah,
I don't think so. Guardiola does rate him. I've heard that Guardiola raves about him massively, but I think when you've got Roger in your team, you don't really need him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be honest. If you were to go to Premier League club, me personally, I would rather have City buy him than anyone else.
Yeah, I would as well.
So
it would make me sick if he was to go to Man United. That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Not even Spurs or Chelsea. Man United, because I think they would ruin him.
Yeah.
And the fan base are disgusting, toxic fuckers.
I absolutely agree with you there on that. I think if he goes to Man City, I'd clap him out the door and say, well done. Even Liverpool to a point, right? But I think if he goes to Manchester United, that is a massive step down for him.
Imagine what they do to him after what they just did to Richard Arnold.
It's not just that. It's the fact that we are closer to Manchester United than Manchester United are closer to winning the league. Like, do you know what I mean? So true. I just think it's a massive step down for me on that one. But obviously, Rice is enjoying Vegas. But obviously, we've got Areola. He's gone on holiday again. And his contract's up on the 30th of June. So is he going to be a West Ham player, Lucas?
I mean, every day that grows till that date is a bit worrying. But you would think that we have to have it somewhat wrapped up. But I don't know. It is a bit worrying because that's just another player we're going to have to scout for and spend unnecessary money on if that's true. I was when West Ham put out or tweeted out that stupid little 8-second snippet of the announcement, which again, poor on the admin. I rate the admin, but not good on the admin for that. Didn't appreciate that because we all know what's fucking coming. I had a deluded thought that we could see a double signing announcement. I was that deluded, but we need to get him over the line as soon as possible.
What about you, Mitch?
I think he will be here. X has said that he's confident that it will come anyway. He's on holiday at the moment, having his best life with his unreal missus. So yeah, he'll come back, and I think he will sign interest from Newcastle, but he wants to stay in London. So
yeah.
Who else would be interested in besides from Fulham? Really, that would go for him. And I think we're much bigger. I think he would rather wait out for us, really. So yeah, I think he will sign. I'm confident with that one.
So obviously Aguerd is done. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the door. He's our centre half, left-sided for me. Not left back, left-sided. The goalkeeper is looking like Areola, but until it's confirmed, we don't know. Now, what other signings are there going to be that's going to come in and do it? Because it was reported that there's 6 players that Moyes is after, and that was after the Aguerd had come out. So we've got 6 players. So if you take Areola out of that equation, it's down to 5. Who are the 5?
A midfielder. I still can't see us signing 5 players personally. I know we're expected to, but I just don't see where it's going to come from. Like, say Dennis.
And are we going to get them in time? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. We've got a decent amount of time. We've still got to the 1st of September, I think.
You want to get them in. You want to get them in.
Them 3. Huh?
You want to get them in before the 1st of September, Mitch. You want to get them in before the City game.
I want to get them now before pre-season, ideally.
Yeah.
I left back for me. Aaron Hickey would be ideal. Wouldn't be too much money as well.
Yeah.
And then a midfielder. Will Price looks to be too much. So I'd like Zinchenko, because if he wants to play in that midfield role, I think he'd do well. I think
Zinchenko's not a bad shout for me. I think he's worth a punt. I think
100%. I don't want him going Everton because he'll do really well at Everton.
But would you, let me ask you this, yeah? If you got Zinchenko in and you didn't get a left back in, would you be disappointed?
I would be disappointed, yeah, because he does want to play midfield.
Yeah.
And, he would be right as a left back. He would still be a good left back. He's just not the quickest. So when he does bump forward, and he can't get back quickly, he's going to leave us exposed. And I think that is just like a problem. The only positive thing is that Rice is always there, and Rice has always cleaned up mess for Cresswell, which is why, Cresswell has been very lucky that he hasn't been caught out as much, because he's had Rice covering him, and the system that we play allows the wingers to track back a lot. So, but I don't know. Marley from Atlanta is a good shout as well. We could play left back.
Danish.
Right back.
Is he Danish, isn't he?
Yeah, the Danish bloke. Yeah, who plays for Atlanta. Good
player.
Like, he's quick, athletic. Would suit what we need as well. I'd definitely take him. But for me, Zinchenko is the one, because Zinchenko, if he did come to the club, he didn't mind playing left back. You could say, you could play there for a bit. Good to rotate, because if Masuaku goes, we need a new starting left back and a cover one, really. I know you could argue Cresswell could cover, but I don't know. I still wouldn't.
What about you, Lucas?
We need a cover, Cresswell.
Yeah, I would absolutely love Zinchenko still, and I told you this before. I don't think it'd be a problem if we bought Zinchenko and we just didn't put the left back label on him. Like, I am more than positive that if we bought him and brought him in as a
carry on, Lucas.
I don't think it'd be a problem if we brought him in as a midfielder, and then I don't think he'd mind playing like a handful to like 8-9 matches at left back. I don't think he'd mind that. But if we prioritize him as a midfielder, I think he'd be down for that. But we do need about 5 more, in my opinion, because we need to bring in players that are going out, which is about 4 or 5, and then we need to add depth, because if we only replace the players going out, I mean, we still have the smallest squad in the Premier League. But I mean, in theory, we have better players coming in than coming out. But still, we need the depth. We need the depth, and I would like to see obviously a left back. I really, in my opinion, I still think that left back is a bigger priority than striker. That's just my opinion.
I don't know about that, Lucas.
You know what? Actually,
in terms of using our money, I'd rather us spend 30-40 million pounds on a quality left back than a striker that could easily flop.
You know what? I agree. There's not many good left backs out there, and there's a lot of strikers that could do a decent job.
Yeah, but
I
what's a
agree with
decent
Lucas.
job? Yeah, but what is a decent job in your eyes? Because to me, Mikel Antonio, in my eyes, does a decent job, but he's not the top
agree.
end striker that we need.
But we're not. It doesn't look like we're going to sign Sony now or any top end striker.
Like Brojo will do a decent job, but you see what I'm saying? There's players out there like when I look at Ivan Toney, Jonathan David, to name a few. Yeah, they're decent. Like they're top end in my eyes. You know that in 2 years' time they're going to be banging goals in all regularly. Do you know what I mean? I think a left back. I agree, Cresswell needs to be changed, right? Especially after the way he ended last season. But I feel that if a Bonner comes back into the fray and a guard needs to go over to the left, I think he could do a job there. Do I want to see him at left back? No, I don't. But I think striker is a major thing because when Antonio's not on it, West Ham are not on it. It's like, and then you're relying on Bowen to score the goals. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, but we've at least showed in last season and a bit of the season before that we've got goals coming from everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I would love to have a forward or a striker that we can rely on to bag.
But can we keep relying as fans of West Ham? Yeah, can we keep relying on Craig Dawson just to keep popping up with headers?
But I mean, you know the market nowadays. Like you could easily buy. We could buy someone for 35, 40 million pounds, and we think he's absolute quality, and he could just be shit in a snap of a finger. In my opinion, I think there's more value to your money in buying a very good left back, and you could,
exactly my thought
Mohamed Bayo from France. He's reported for like 10 million pound. He could easily, for all we know, come in on 10 million pound and do just as good as Antonio. That's why I'd rather take a punt on.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. That's the problem I've got. Yeah, what you just said there. He can do just as good as Antonio, but I want better than Antonio. Like that's the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Antonio, though, I don't think.
But you would do if you paid the money.
Especially,
we would, but we're not going to because
especially if Aguerd's our marquee signing. You know,
true. For me, Tony is the one. It would suit everything we want, and it would really work well with Bowen. Like the way he drops deep, Bowen could make runs going forward. I think he would be exceptional. The fact that 40 million ain't even too much, in my opinion, for a striker that he would guarantee goals.
In today's market,
strikers out there would guarantee. And the series wouldn't guarantee goals and goals. Broly wouldn't. They'd definitely score a few, but Ivan Toney would guarantee you goals and assists.
Don't get me wrong. I agree with you boys, with Bio, and other players, If you was to get a lesser striker, he could come in and do a Yarmolenko job, so to speak, come off the bench, make an impact, etc. But I feel if West Ham are going to go up to another level, they need to start looking at a better striker than Antonio. And Antonio needs to sit on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And start going, right, if you're not performing, Mitch, you go to the games, You've been over there numerous times. And you've said to me on this channel, he walks around, James. It's like he owns Stratford. Do you know what I mean? So
that is a big thing, actually, mate. That people do forget. Like at the start of the season, he didn't pick up a lot of goals, but his work rate is really poor, and it's not because he doesn't want it.
He just has no one to push him.
He ain't got the fitness. He hasn't got. I don't think he's got the fitness levels. He looks fucked after the first half every time. He's always blowing, dripping in sweat. I think
Broach is the right.
He could just have aggressive sweat glands.
He could have, Brojo is like a like for like with Antonio, in my opinion. Like he's. How would you describe Brojo? If you was giving him
he's quite similar to Antonio in the fact that he doesn't really fear players when they head on with him.
Would you say he's like an Arnautovic? You'd say he's like an Arnautovic type.
I think Arnautovic is probably a bit better technically.
Yeah,
but that could come with Brojo. He's only 20. Got to remember, Arnautovic wasn't too great before we came to us. He was decent at Stoke, but he wasn't line it up, and he was a left winger at that point.
But he did improve though, didn't he? Like Arnautovic, and I think Arnautovic.
Brojo can improve. He's only 20. Yeah. If we could get Bayo, say for example, or say we could get Bayo for 10 million and then loan Brojo, I think that would be good business. And then with an option to buy at the end of the season, we've not spent much money at all, and it gives us a lot of room to possibly even bid 60 million for Ward-Prowse, make our market massive signing. It's asking a lot, which I don't think it would, and then make little additions here and there. Sign Aaron Hickey, maybe sign a Campos, and then you're looking at a good window.
Do you think, seriously though, I just want to say this, and then I'm going to let Lucas come in. Do you really seriously think that Ward-Prowse is a West Ham? He's going to come to West Ham? I just don't believe it.
We're not going to spend that amount of money. Definitely not.
What was you going to say, Lucas?
I just think right now with Antonio, I would say obviously in my perfect world, Antonio is our 25, 30-minute impact sub, having him come off the bench and running it. Tired defenders. I mean, who the hell wants to deal with that after running around for 60, 65 minutes? And in the current situation we're in right now, after spending 30, 35 million pounds in total on a center half, realistically, we just need to bring someone in that's going to push him and at least compete for the starting spot. And I think Broja would be perfect for that, especially if we got him on a loan to buy. I think that'd be absolutely ideal, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I would, and James Ward-Prowse, I rate him very highly. I think he's absolutely quality, but there is in no way, shape, or form that I see him in claret and blue. That would be
great.
Not only would that be very pricey, I would be absolutely impressed and baffled if we somehow got him through, but there's just no shot.
I've got to ask you though. I believe we have an all, but I've got to ask you, if we did sign Ward-Prowse, is that the end of Souček then?
At the end, he'd be a decent player in maybe the cup games to come on for the last 10 minutes. In the cup games, maybe playing pre-season friendlies, just to keep everyone smiling. Good company for Soufal. They both speak the same language.
I think we'd probably adjust to a 4-3-3, but that would depend on Souček's form, how he gets on with that, and if he's not getting on in a 4-3-3, then it probably will be the end of him.
Do you think it will be a 4-3-3 next year? I hope it is. I hope it ain't 4-2-3-1 that we play. I hope it's 4-3-3.
It depends on the midfielder we get. Like I told you this plenty of times as well. The midfielder we get, in my opinion, really shapes our formation in the future. Like if we were to have got Calvin Phillips or Basuma, we're definitely sticking with a 4-2-3-1, in my opinion, because Basuma and Calvin Phillips, not only can they play a dominant DM, they can play in a midfield three if needed.
I don't know about Calvin Phillips,
but with James Ward-Prowse, there's no way James Ward-Prowse could be partnering Declan Rice in a 4-2-3-1.
You don't fancy him in a two? With Deck.
I mean, I would, but it's just not his strength. Like Mitch always says, just because you run around a lot and you have an absolute engine doesn't mean you're a great defender or you show quality in defense. You know what I mean? And James Ward-Prowse has an absolute engine, brilliant passer, brilliant set piece taker, but he's not the best defender. He's kind of in the same realm of Souček, where he racks up the kilometers, racks up everything else, but he's not textbook the best defender out there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but when I look at him, I feel if we was to sign James Ward-Prowse, I think it is the end of Souček, if I'm being honest. And I know Mitchell would love to hear that, but I really do mean that. I think
I don't think it'd be the end of him, because I think Souček really loves the club. And I think he's got the impression that all the fans think he's great as well.
But I don't think he could accept Mitch being second choice.
I think he would.
It all depends on the formation, though. If I would love to see a midfield three of Souček, Rice, and James Ward-Prowse. I think that'd be absolutely mental.
Would you ever?
I would.
I don't think Souček's anywhere near the starting lineup next season.
But it allows Souček to get forward, which is what he did best. And I get what you're saying, what everyone else is saying about his season last season, but I don't know. In the name of odds, I I would bet on Souček having a better season than last season, even though I know it was absolute shit. But great first season, poor second season. I would put money on him to have a decent third season, and then we can really judge, like, okay, I can't see a future for him at this club, or he can stay.
What do you think of this? Yeah, Jones says this. Yeah, who are the Burnley players that Moyes was looking at? Obviously, there was Cornet. Obviously,
Brownhill at the very beginning of the window.
Brownhill and Dwight. Out of the three,
and Cornet as well.
Which one would you have? Oh yeah, there's Pope and all. Dwight McNeil would be a good. I'll go for Dwight McNeil.
Not Dwight McNeil. I think he's average. Very average.
I love your brutal honesty.
I tweeted this the other day. I'm sick to death of us targeting. Dom, who's I really like Dom a lot. Got a lot of time for him. He does these little every now and then tweets, like every couple of day tweets, where he puts up his updated list of all the players we've been linked with this summer. Yeah. And it's like at the moment it's sitting at about 35, I think. Like, and all of them, like, I think not all of them, but so many of them, and it's true because it's been confirmed by X that we're linked to these players, are so, for me, below what we should be looking at. I don't think we should be looking at players like Brownhill and.
Yeah, but is it because though, Mitch, that we've spoke about it on this channel multiple times? We haven't got the bloody finances to go out and get these players.
The thing is, David Brown, he's honestly, we should be all over this bloke. Tony, we should be all over him. We have.
Sorry, I can only make calls to your contacts using Duo.
What the
even the bird saying no to you, mate. That's what.
Sorry if I upset you.
What the fuck? What is going on?
I don't understand.
Mate, it's all going on.
Great.
Oh, Mitch. Oh,
let them plug the bitch. There we go.
Is that your blow up doll you got for private time, Mitch?
Fucking hell, sorry about that. I lost my complete track of thought.
Yeah, well, you were saying about the players, but like
the bang
obviously Ram. Yeah.
You want to see us go after a step above.
Even ended up artificial intelligence.
Oh, brilliant.
Mitch, treat your Siri right. Even Siri finds Mitch deluded.
Alexa, that's the doll's name.
No, listen, I understand what you're saying, right? I really do mean that. But when I look at it and I get what you're saying. I get what everyone says about the lower end players. We shouldn't be going for them. I think.
Look where we are. Like, these are the players we expected to be linked with. Like, these are the quality players we were linked with, say, 4 or 5 years ago. Like, we've had a good 2 seasons now. We've finished in the top 7 both seasons, and other teams around our position are looking at quality players all the time.
Yeah,
and it seems like we're just like constantly linked with Dross.
When I look at Burnley players, Mitch, I know what you're saying. I look at Burnley players. I look at the bottom half of the table, like out of the top, not in the top 10. I don't think a lot of them players will get in the top 10. Probably apart from Pope, maybe. Other than that, I think the rest.
Yeah, even Corner's all right, but for me, he's not a starter. He should be a starter for us. He'd be like a squad addition, and I don't want just squad additions. I want players that will challenge for the first team.
Yeah, you would think we'd be going after like established European players, like Europa League players. But I mean,
Aguerd is the standard for me. Like that's the standard we need to be looking at. Players that play in Europa League conference, one of the best players for their team, great internationally. They're a decent age as well. Got all the attributes that looks like they could fit into our team. Aguerd is the bang kind of players we should be looking at.
Yeah, we should be going after, like, he does fit that mold. Like Rennes, they're not the best team in Ligue 1. I know they made Champions League recently, and or they won the league like 2 seasons ago, right?
No, they didn't win the league, but
it did.
No, they didn't. It was Lille won the league.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we should be going after like clubs like that, like their best players.
Yeah,
but I mean. In terms of Burnley, I am also kind of sick of like always trying to basically shoplift relegated teams. And
I think sometimes you can get decent players from there, but I think sometimes
the players you're speaking of, I mean, I like Dwight McNeil, but he's like a very old school footballer. Cornet, I like the prospect of Cornet because he can play all down the left flank. I mean, McNeil can play all down the left flank as well, but Cornet has a bit more flair and aggressiveness with him. He's not afraid to take someone on, as Dwight McNeil is, as you guys say with Vlasic. He's a bit more safe and just is very. He doesn't really express himself. And then Brownhill's absolutely. I like Josh Brownhill, but I would love, in my opinion, I'd rather see Connor Coventry get a chance over than bringing in Josh Brownhill.
Great comment, because I was just going to lead on to that. Talking about the youngsters before we sort of come towards the end. And you might as well take us away.
Connor Coventry right now. Free him. Free him.
You might as well take it away, Lucas. Right? Talk to me about what youngsters under 23s that you want to see breaking into the team this year.
And again, I'm only speaking for myself, but I think Connor Coventry deserves a legitimate shot. I think he should have gotten a shot last season because he had a phenomenal preseason, in my opinion. And like I've told you, we had a very good preseason schedule, not in terms of results or anything, but we played decent sides. Brentford, Celtic. I mean, there's not a lot of other clubs that have that type of preseason competition. And we absolutely thrashed Celtic, beat Brentford convincingly. And Connor Coventry in both those games played superb. And yes, I know playing in the Premier League is going to be a huge step up, but I mean, he just got back from tearing League One a new asshole, basically. Him and Scott Tween were just running amok, doing whatever they wanted. And I have no doubt that Connor Coventry is going to have another good preseason. And I mean, he's the type of player, you look at him foundationally, he seems to be solid technically. He knows the game. He has a high IQ. And I mean, who doesn't like the prospect of having a U21 Irish captain? You know? He's kind of I'm not saying he's going to be like Declan Rice or he's in the same mold as Declan Rice, but Declan Rice was also the captain of the U21 Ireland or 18, whatever he was. So I mean, I see steps there. I see signs. The signs are there for Coventry to be a decent player, a decent servant for us. I don't want to see another Josh Collins situation where we fly him out to fucking Belgium for £5 million and he's actually been doing quite well in the Belgium league from what I've seen. And I mean, I think he deserves a chance. He deserves a chance, and he's shown that he deserves a chance. And I think he will be chomping at the bit and will arise to the occasion.
What about you, Mitch? Because you're the one who used to say to me, Moyes don't invest in the youth.
And we need youngsters for Europa Conference League. That's another big thing. That's another huge 100%. Thing.
For me, unless it looks like his time could be up, or this is his last season where he really pushes for the first team, if he could, I don't think he's quite good enough. Yeah. Baptiste looks like he's going alone. I think he's the best player in the youth, which could step up to the mark, but he's still very young and could do with a loan spell. See how he does in a Championship or League One side. For me, the ones that could possibly get into the side this season, make an impact as a squad player, Coventry's the main one if you want to consider him one. Also, Ashby, maybe Longello. I'd say Ashby and Okaflex are the main two for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully they do get the chance because, I mean, not that I'm turning my nose down to Europa Conference League, but I mean, we should not be playing our strongest 11 in the Conference League until obviously like a quarterfinal, semifinal. You know what I'm saying? Like we should be playing in my opinion, in my perfect world, there should be like six strong players and then like three youngsters 4 maybe a bit too much, but there needs to be a good mix in there because we cannot be playing our strongest 11 against Romanian rice farmers or debt collectors.
100% agree. I want to see Ashby though. He's the one I really want to see on the right hand side.
Yeah.
I think Oko Flex needs a chance. Like everyone knows how good he is in the under 23s, but we don't know how good he is in a big game or
again
first
Irish.
Team.
Trust the Irish. Luck of the Irish.
I think Longello is a tough one for me because I think he hasn't done anything really to justify. He had one good game against Aguerd, don't get me wrong, but we need to sign better than Longello. And I think if you're waiting for Longello, we ain't got time to wait. So I think Longello's a bit of a push, but I think Connor Coventry will come in, and I think he'll be Mark Noble's replacement. And I think then we'll get a sign of midfielder.
I'm excited for Ashby too because I do think. Just because I know us, we all know West Ham. I really think we're going to end up shitting it on a left back, and we're just going to put Ben Johnson as Cresswell's backup or competition, and then Ashby will step in immediately, and be backup to Soufal. And I rate Harrison Ashby very highly. I think he is.
So do I.
I think he's kind of in a situation right now the same as Connor Coventry. I think if he has a very good preseason, he should, in my opinion, at least be touted to be on the bench for most of the season.
I agree.
If that goes that way, what you just said, right, about putting Ben Johnson over to the left, surely questions are going to have to be asked, aren't they?
Because I'd be sick to my stomach. That's just another. It's like how Mitch feels with Aguerd. Like I love the Aguerd signing, but as soon as you say that he can also fill in at left back, and that's an option, it kind of pisses me off. Do I like flexibility? Yes, I love that. But I don't want to see him near left back because he's not a left back. There's a difference between being able to play left back and filling in. I think Aguerd can fill in and if needed. You know, hell, Ogbonna, when we first bought him, he could fill in at left back if needed. He did it at Juventus.
Yeah, he could.
But I don't want to see that. We need to stop fucking around and take care of business. But we all know what's really going to happen. So I'm keeping my guard up.
Well,
boom.
I hope you are, mate. Well, that is it on the West Ham front. I just want to talk to Mitchell about his weekend away the other week. How was it, Mitch? You being John McEnroe.
Butlins.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, it was very good. Hot with the wig. Also, I came around the fucking 80s racket all weekend. I've still got like a scarf from the blister. I had a blister from holding the racket for like fucking 10 hours. Till the early hours of the morning. Didn't even realise because obviously I was just pissed up, and I was woke up in the morning like fucking massive like cut, fucking thumb. I was like, fuck me. I actually don't know what's happened to the racket. I think I might put it in the bin or something. I don't know how racket's gone, but it was a good weekend. It was really good, thanks mate. First time I've been Butlins as well actually. I mean, I went when I was younger, but you know, it was a good little 80s thing. I really enjoyed it.
Good, mate. Good. That's what I like to hear. The man with a wig will return on this channel 100% because he done a show the other week. If you didn't see it, Mitch had a big, massive wig of John McEnroe. So, yeah. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there. It's been nearly an hour. West Ham have signed Aguerd, and we're all over the moon with that. But we need some more signings, West Ham. So it's time to get cracking. Do you know what I mean? The engines are on. They're revving up and raring to go, and we need to bring these players in. Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And please hit that notification bell, like Lucas says, every single time, but I sometimes forget. Anyway, Aguerd is in. Areola is possibly coming in. But what striker's coming in? Is it El Nesri or is it Broja? We will find out. Bye.